Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler's epic battles established their rivalry as the greatest of the past generation. Now, why did Ronnie Coleman lose his 9th Mr. Olympia win to Jay Cutler? Let's find out. Why Ronnie Coleman lost to Jay Cutler. The seemingly impossible became reality as a reigning Mr. Olympia champion was dethroned. Here is the story of Jay Cutler's win over Ronnie Coleman. The next name you hear will be the winner of the 2006 Mr. Olympia. Cicherillo reiterated for dramatic effect. Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler stood a half-dozen feet apart at center stage, awaiting the announcement that will profoundly affect not just their own careers and lives, but the future of the sport in which they were the two top dogs. Coleman was the reigning 8-time Mr. Olympia, a man considered unbeatable by the vast majority of his peers. Cutler placed second to Coleman in the mother of all contests on 4 occasions, in 2001, 2003, 2004, and 2005, and was looking to overcome not just Big Ron, but also insurmountable odds. After all, a reigning Olympia champ hadn't been unseated on the O since 1984, when Haney did it to Samir Bannout. The decks were stacked against Cutler, and in Las Vegas, that was a tough spot to be in. But the seemingly impossible became reality, as a reigning Mr. Olympia champion was dethroned, and Jay Cutler was announced as 2006 Mr. Olympia. Even though Ronnie was 42 years old in 2006, he was still an excellent bodybuilder. He was not at his best, but he got runner-up to Jay in 2006. One of the major and most understandable reasons why Ronnie Coleman lost is that he didn't look his best that faithful day. It was a different Ronnie Coleman seen on stage that day. He didn't look unstoppable anymore, he looked human, and like any human, he had a weakness. But that might not have been enough in and of itself to defeat Ronnie Coleman. The second element came in a renewed Jay Cutler. Kevin Levrone, a professional bodybuilder, watched the entire showdown and later recounted seeing Cutler holding a new level of confidence he didn't seem to have before. For the first time, Jay Cutler commanded the stage on a new level. His physique was on point, his posing was on point, his confidence was through the roof. Kevin Levrone believes that the judges saw this and were impressed. Judges often look for a competitor to be better than the year before, especially if they are a returning champion. Ronnie Coleman unfortunately didn't do that. Add that Jay Cutler improved to a new level that year and the roles were reversed. The end of an era was suddenly in sight. Regardless of the outcome, Kevin Levrone also comments on how Ronnie Coleman always had a smile on his face. Certainly the loss was hard on Ronnie, but Levrone never once saw Ronnie complain. Even after all these years, through the injuries and surgeries, Ronnie still never seems to complain. Despite the era ending, a legend was solidified. It's more than just his physique, it was his mindset. Ronnie Coleman ended his reign in grace.
Ronnie came in off, and I think that brought Ronnie's confidence. Ronnie doubted himself that night, and I remember being backstage. Ronnie just showed up as a different Ronnie that night, you know. You have to fight for it, man. The posing routines were judged. You can't be doubting yourself. You gotta take it to him. Posing and looking at him and he posed, and then you go, you gotta, boom. Any champion loses something. I think it's devastating. I never heard Ronnie complain about anything. Never. When he's lost shows, he never complained about them. When he's won shows, he's never praised himself above anybody else. He's gonna show up. You know, he's not gonna stay home. He's gonna show up with his pain. He's gonna show up with his smile. You know, and that's Ronnie, man. You know what I mean?
Jay Cutler on beating Ronnie Coleman. No other bodybuilder in the history of the Olympia has as many runner-up placings as Jay Cutler. Jay was runner-up 4 times to Ronnie Coleman. Then again, Jay lost the title in 2008 to Dexter Jackson. These aren't the only times Jay was runner-up, because in 2011, Jay Cutler was runner-up again when Phil Heath won his first Mr. Olympia. Jay won the Olympia 4 times and placed runner-up 6 times. A decade and a half later, he reflects on that moment and what it meant to him. Speaking in an interview, Jay explained just how much this moment meant to him. He started off by going on record to say that Ronnie Coleman was the greatest bodybuilder to ever do it, and he looked up to the legend. He then explained that after being second for so long, it took him a while to come to terms with the fact that he won. Jay Cutler goes on to explain that top bodybuilders were portrayed as perfect in magazines, so there was a certain expectation that fans had when they met him. However, he knows that all of these bodybuilders had their own issues going on behind the scenes and were far from the perfect expectations set before them. So that makes him appreciate the vulnerable moments that he had early in his career before he found success. It is crazy to look back on the career of Jay Cutler and see how far he came. His story is nothing short of motivational, and even years later, it is incredible to hear him reflect on these moments.
I came to Vegas for the first time, I think, in around 98. They had the Mr. USA bodybuilding show here, and I came, and I was living in Massachusetts at the time, and I think I was around 23 or so. I never thought back then that I would ever live here, right? And eventually became a resident and accepted in the community and won the Mr. Olympia title here, and I finished, my career and reside here still to this day, which I love the city and the respect I get from all the people within. My office is right near the Raiders Stadium, so I drive by every day and I watch that thing being constructed, and I'm like, as it grew and grew and grew, and I'm like, I still wake up on a daily basis and say, wow, I live in Las Vegas.
How Coleman's girlfriend leaked his Mr. Olympia loss to him. Ronnie Coleman is arguably one of the best bodybuilders in the modern day. With 8 consecutive Mr. Olympia titles, Ronnie tied with Lee Haney. However, his appearance in the 2006 Mr. Olympia has been one of the most discussed topics among bodybuilding enthusiasts. The 2006 edition of Mr. Olympia ended Ronnie's unbeaten streak. It came as a shocker to the world. People believed he was in peak form to win his 9th consecutive title. However, American bodybuilder Jay Cutler defeated him to win his first Mr. Olympia title. In an interview, Ronnie revealed that the loss shocked him too. According to him, he was unbeatable. Speaking on his mindset during the competition, he said, "You fall into some form of monotony after a while, and like, okay, I have won it, say, 7, 8 times in a row, what's 9? In an interview with Value Entertainment, Ronnie stated he was already prepared to take the second place in that event. He revealed an insider told him the result even before it was announced. Coleman revealed his girlfriend had leaked the verdict to him before the official announcement. He said, "I already knew I was going to be second far away. My girlfriend told me." His girlfriend at that time, Vicky Gates, was at the judges' table and revealed the verdict to him so he would be prepared. Coleman stated, "She was judging. She told me I was going to be second. I don't think she was judging. She was at the judges' table and she saw the score."
No, I was in shock.
Before they announced it, you were certain they're going to call you.
Oh yeah, like 1,000%. Like I had been all those other times. I don't want this like 7, 8 times in a row. Oh, what's 9?
You didn't seem that confident when they announced it.
Yeah, because I already knew I was going to be second far away.
How did you know that?
Oh, my girlfriend told me.
Why would she tell you that?
Like, to prepare me, because she knew. I
got it.
She'd been with me for a long time.
When you came back up, nobody was thinking you were going to be
not
first.
Not even me.
Right. To go from 9 to first.
So I was thinking, man, if I could make top 5, I'd be happiest guy ever.
That's all for this video, folks. See you another time.